So a lot of you guys have already been here before, but every week we like to get together and talk about some things, go over different selling techniques that maybe we forgot about, maybe we do on a regular, maybe it's a refresher, maybe it's something brand new. Sometimes we go over nothing about what was supposed to be in our slide presentation, but just things that we noticed this week. So while we are going to get to the F&I tune-up, you guys have probably received a couple of emails from us over the last few days. So I want to make sure that we go over those. One is make sure that your service department knows that when they are filing a claim, a pre-authorization. Got it, Josh?
Yep.
Yeah. That pre-authorization is required. So for those of you that don't know, our online claims is the most quickest and efficient way to get a claim processed. You can go to ascentadmin.com. In the far right-hand corner, there is a thing that says file a claim, and you just click that button. It's very simple. In the event that they're going through there and their service department isn't in there yet, it's just because you guys haven't filed a claim yet. I don't think I have that problem with the people who are on the call, but just in case you're joining us late, that's how you do it. You'll get immediate access to our claims portal where you can upload any relevant documents or supporting pictures and get a claim taken care of very quickly and efficiently. So one of the things that we're very, very proud of is our claims process. And when a claim comes through, we have, as an admin, we've given ourselves 2 hours. So we have 2 hours to approve, deny, or we need more info on a claim. We do have a claims team that is assembled on Saturdays as well. So if you have those guys come in that need a battery or they need a tire, you know, get that claim put in so that we can get them on the road. We have people there to do that immediately. Again, and if you don't hear something from them extremely quickly, and it is on a Saturday, pick up the phone and call me or call court. Sorry about that. I'm not quite sure how I choked, but I did. Completely did. All right, getting back into it. So as a reminder, pre-authorization is required. Another couple of little hiccups that we've had this week when it comes to claims. All motorcycle tires, if they have a nail in them or something like that, we do not plug or patch any of our motorcycle tires. But these off-road tires, look guys, if you can put a plug in them and call it a day, please do that, right? Put a plug in it, put a patch in it. We will still pay you to do that, but we don't automatically replace off-road tires. They were made for that type of stuff. They are a thicker and more durable tire. Now, obviously, if it's in a sidewall, that's not going to help. But if it can be plugged and patched safely, please do that. That is part of our program. When it comes to batteries, batteries are another really easy thing to get pushed through quickly and efficiently. What we need for a battery claim, take a picture of the little printout that says that it's not holding a charge properly and submit that in with your claim. We're going to ask for that. So if they just do it in the beginning, and most companies do that, just send it to us, and it makes it so much quicker to just go in and approve the claim and get your customer going. For a tire claim, I have to see the tread depth. Tread depth is going to be in the middle, or what is the least, it's a least amount of tread depth, right? So it's 3/32 on the tread depth, and it's what is the least tread of the tire, not the sidewalls. So that's what we're looking for. And that's what we need to have when we go to replace a motorcycle tire. So a couple of those little tidbits of information, if you could share with your service department, will definitely make their job and our job go a lot quicker and smoother, so that we can get these claims taken care of really quick, get them moving through our funnel and going. So with that, we're going to get back into, because I wasted 5 minutes talking about claims, we're going to get back into the F&I tune-up. So how does this all work? Well, each week we go through something. So this week we're going to go through customer interviews. We'll talk about product knowledge sometimes, presentation techniques, menus, menu presentation, how to put a menu together. We will go over different objection handling skills, all of those things. So that's kind of what this is all about. My favorite is the customer interview. I like to play in product knowledge more than anything, because as you guys know, having your product knowledge, knowing what's on your contract, you will be able to answer and overcome about 90% of the customer's objections just by knowing what's on your contracts. And why is it important? Well, this is why. I guess I should have skipped to the next screen. When you are able to answer a question quickly, it will automatically build credibility with you and your customer. And it's viewed as, instead of someone telling you that you should do something, it's seen as educating the customer instead. There we go. So this week, it's all about product knowledge, the Ampli-Fi VSC programs. We've got 2 of them. Josh, what 2 programs do we have? Perfect. All right. So a couple of things that's going to go on both programs. Our coverages start from day 1. From day 1. So as soon as that customer leaves, our program takes effect. It does protect and pay for parts and labor, and it will reduce the out-of-pocket expenses for most major repairs. So one of the big that's a great point. You know, a lot of people like, what does that mean? What does exclusionary coverage mean? And a lot of times it's easier for me to explain it to my customers this way. When you buy a car and they give you the limited powertrain warranty, right? It'll tell you on those papers exactly what's covered. I'm covering X, Y, and Z. On an exclusionary coverage program, it clearly defines what we're not paying for. I'm not paying for maintenance. I'm not paying for a spark plug. I'm not paying if you break it. I'm not paying if you wreck it, right? It'll clearly state what's not covered. So the way I overcome that, when I'm talking to a customer about the program, I'm like, look, it usually, it's easier for me to explain it this way. It doesn't cover batteries, brake pads, bulbs. No, I can't say that on here. Or bull stuff, bull hockey, right? Those are usually my 4, or everything but normal wear and tear, and what I like to call stupidity, because those other 3 things can be considered normal wear and tear, right? So on that, those are the easiest ways for me to explain it. But having a copy of the 3rd page of your contract will list out the half a page of exclusions that we have, saying exactly what's not covered. Here, Mr. Customer, this is not what's covered. If it's not listed here, then it's covered. Here you go. Here's page 3 of the contract. I'm letting you guys read through that for a second. You did a great job. So what we are not covering, we are not covering something that occurs before we receive and approve the application. What does that mean? That means if you file a claim and haven't sold it yet, 1. If you file a claim and the contract has not been paid for yet. Now, this is where, and it's not tricky or anything like that. So if you sell a contract today There's an airplane flying extremely low, like right over the mountain. Oh, there's two of them. Guys, I live in a valley and I would say, giant airplanes, uh, military airplanes flying low. Maybe Trump's in the area and I didn't know about it. Anyway, if you sell a contract today and they got a claim tomorrow, when we receive the claim, we're going to call you guys or we're going to email you or they're going to get a hold of us and they're going to say, hey, this contract hasn't taken effect yet. Will you please have someone log in and pay for the contract? So that's when we call and we're like, hey, even though I know we really don't make you pay until next month, I have to have the contract paid for before we can actually issue an approval for the claim to be taken care of. So we'll have you log into the system. Most of you guys are set up on ACH anyway, and we'll have you go in and pay for that contract so that we're good to go, and then we'll continue on. So that's A, even though it can be taken care of. Any repair done without prior authorization. I think I spent the first 5 minutes of the conversation talking about that. So you have to have prior authorization done before you can begin the work. 3, we do not provide coverage for any vehicles modified. And then you keep reading and it says, unless you have paid the optional surcharges for the lifting kits, lowering kits, things like that. So if there's modifications on it, it's clearly stated inside of the next part of this contract. And it tells you all of that. And it clearly lists it out for the customer as well. I'm not paying for the customer saying everything was fine. And then when you open it up to repair something, because we will pay for teardown, but I'm not paying for teardown if they sunk it under the water. Now it's going to be back on them, right? So if we tear it down and it's something that isn't covered, then that's going to be back on them. So that's what D means. E, a lot of these vehicles, we all know it. They'll go into low power mode, limp mode. The lights will come on. Most of you know that inside the computer system, it will tell you when those lights illuminated. It'll also tell you when the point of failure was after that. So if there's, 14 hours of ride time in between there, I'm going to say that the customer had something to do with that. Again, I'm taking extreme measures here. As far as what I'm telling you guys. But again, these are all the things that are not permitted. Result damaging from an improper previous repair. And these are just standard items. Now, again, we're going to go down to V, clutch related items, unless you have the optional surcharge. Vehicles used for commercial purposes, unless you have the surcharge. So it will clearly come in here and show you all the things that you cannot cover. Now, unlike most contracts, this is all that we don't cover. This is an exclusionary policy. This is the exclusions. And again, this is informal. So if anybody has any questions, use your little hand raising button or just unmute your mic and ask a question. So again, day one coverage, we pick up where the manufacturer's warranty leaves off and what that means for you. So when you're selling these on new units, 99% of the time, they come with 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, some of them 2 and 3 years worth of a manufacturer's warranty on there. This runs concurrent with that. When it goes into your service department, the first thing they're going to do is check for coverage and submit it through them. But if it is a component that is only covered by the surcharges, like what we have, and a lot of times we cover things that the manufacturer doesn't because our exclusionary program is so lax with what we exclude. So that's why we start our coverages from day one. I mean, I don't want somebody who you as the dealer put in a head unit and subs and amp and speakers in the doors and wherever, and then there's a failure on one of those parts that you put in. Obviously, the manufacturer is not going to pick that up. What are we going to tell the customer? Oh, I'm sorry, this doesn't start for 6 months and 1 day, so come back then. Oh, wait, sorry, we can't do that because now it's considered a pre-existing condition. So we never wanted to get the customers in a pickle like that. So we started our contracts from day one. Most of our competitors, you know, they have a 48-month total. Ours goes out to a 60 months. So instead of 6 months of factory and 48 extended to give you 54 months of coverage, we just do 60, right? So that's kind of how we did that. So the add-on highlights, electronics, we kind of went over that. It includes the dash clusters, amp sub speakers, lights, winches, what else? A whole bunch more. Anything else that you could put. I had comms units that were put on these, like CVs. I call them CVs for some reason now. Apparently I'm old. They're not called CVs anymore. They're called comms units, whatever. Either way, those type of add-ons, if they're done at the dealership, will be covered under the electronic surcharge. Let's talk about a few other things that's covered under the electronic surcharge. For those of you that have motorcycles and you're putting ECU mods on them, or you're putting some sort of upgraded electrical components on them, then those would now be covered under that electronic surcharge. So for our lift, we do up to a 6-inch lift. That can be done in a couple of different ways. Most people swap out the suspension by putting different shocks on it, right? Or they'll put portals on it with it. We'll do that. Or if you're lowering it, we can lower it down to 3 inches. I know motorcycles are now lowering units as well. I had a dealer I was talking to yesterday, and they actually put airbags on all of their Rangers now. A lot of their Rangers, they're putting air suspension on their Rangers. And I'm like, you know what? I need both surcharges, because technically the lift is covered under the lifting and the lowering would be covered under the lift surcharge, but now you've added a whole bunch of electronics to it. I had never considered that was going to be where the next generation was going, but I had him add the electronic surcharge too, so I could cover all of the components, right? And now let's talk about clutch. So on the motorcycles, your clutch coverage is going to be the clutch baskets, the steels, the friction plates, all of those internal components that everybody says is either normal wear and tear, or realistically a kid doesn't know how to ride a bike, right? Those are usually the causes of those type of failures. Same can be said on the side-by-sides though, right? Like we have someone who throws it in neutral and just goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Well, we all know what happens. Josh, if you got that on video, don't you dare post that. No promises, huh? They all, yeah. If they are doing that, and you can usually tell because they come in with a shattered secondary, right? Like we know when that happens. So as long as they're not doing something crazily dumb, then most of the time they don't have a problem. But when they do, if they have the clutch surcharge, now they're covered, right? The primary is covered, the secondary is covered. If the belt has to be replaced as part of a failure of the other components, then it would be replaced as well. Commercial and farm use. So you'll notice on our rate sheets that we have commercial and we have farm use, and they're in different spots. And in the portal, it's in the same little spot. Reason is if you go to Iowa and you say commercial to a farmer, they're not happy. Not happy at all. They are not a commercial. They don't do commercial work. They do farming work. They only farm their own ground, so it's not considered commercial. When you talk to a commercial farmer, they tell you, this isn't for just a small ag use or farm use. We're a commercial outfit. It was easier. So I put it in both spots, right? So commercial and farm use are the same exact surcharge in the system. And it's for that reason. Yeah. So how do we present the vehicle service contract? A lot of times, you guys know that I have pitched how important a customer interview is. A customer interview gives you an opportunity to learn your customer, let them learn you, and you are building rapport with them from the very beginning, right? And to do that, you talk about things like format. And you've probably heard me talk about this before. It's family, occupation, recreation, motivation, animals and teams, especially animals and teams. Most people like to put, ladies like to put their animals on their shirts and on their phone and on their phone case. Men like to wear their teams proudly on their hat and on their shirts, right? So you can usually find something to visit with someone about, unless you're an Michigan fan. And then in that case, like I'm not even sure why you're buying something. But that's another story. Um, but again, doing that customer interview will make it so much easier to present your whole menu, including the extended service contract. So use simple language. Huh? Yes. Um, remember when we were just talking about the VSC and I was showing you all the exclusions and all the things like that, and I used a whole bunch of big words? Don't do that with a customer. When you talk to them and you say things like, oh, it's an exclusionary policy versus a stated component, so it's going to cover a lot more. Unless you do this for a living, they have no idea what you just said. You know how the manufacturer gives you 6 months of warranty with it? Well, this is kind of like that on steroids, and it goes out 5 years. That is one of the easiest ways to say it. That's my way of saying it. I also like to throw in there that there's a zero deductible, so that you won't have any out-of-pocket exhaust, any out-of-pocket expense on any covered repair. And position it into like an ownership tool. Like you've made a huge purchase today. It's a great commitment. You're going to have a lot of fun. And this is one of those smart pieces of ownership and not just a maybe product. So what we want you to do this week is we want you to practice. We want you to practice your presentation to someone on your team. Work with sales. Be like, hey, does this make sense? And in the same aspect, you need to go out there and visit with your sales team and go through some things with them. Because in that same notion, it makes us look bad as finance managers when we walk up to a customer and we're like, oh, congratulations on your new LG 89648B, because that's the model number listed on the paperwork that you got. Like, that doesn't make us look like we know much about what we're talking about, right? So really go out there, talk with your salesman, especially if you're in a large store and you've got multiple OEMs under head. There's going to be a lot of different ways that you're going to see those model numbers. You may see, Polaris, they like to use large model numbers. Can-Am likes to use large model numbers, and that's usually what's going to be put from your Lightspeed onto your paperwork. So you want to make sure you can say things like, congratulations on your Maverick. Congratulations on your new Razor. You're going to love this turbo. Like, understand what the customer is buying so you can speak their same language. And that will also help you build a rapport with the customer. Yeah, I did that once. I won't do that again. So just know a little bit about every machine that you have at the store. You don't have to be the expert on it. That's what the salesmen are for, right? So go out there, learn a little bit about the units that are out there. Let a salesman do a walk around with you. And in the same aspect, do your walk around with them, right? Present your menu. Be proficient on the VSC. Put your menu together where you have your gap and your tire and wheel and your theft and all of the things that you sell. Present it to your salesman. Get more comfortable and confident with your presentation every single time you do it. Or feel free to just set up your handy dandy smartphone. If you're still an Android user, I'm sorry. One of these people touched. That was a diss directly to Court, because I know he watches these. And record it. Send it to us. We will give you all the feedback you could ever want. And that way you can get more confident with your presentation. You don't want to send it to us. Find somebody that knows nothing about what you do. and video yourself and present it to them. And just let them watch your video. If they have questions like, what is it that you're talking about? Then maybe we need to modify your menu presentation a little bit, because that's probably the same response as your customers are receiving is, because again, we do this all day, every day, and they're doing this like once every couple of years. So make sure that you are using the language that will work for them. With that said, that is the end of the presentation and the end of the training. We are trying to keep these short, sweet, to the point, and give you guys an opportunity to take what you've learned back into the stores. Is there any questions, any comments or concerns that we want to discuss while we are on the phone today? Feel free to unmute your mic. Just a couple more seconds. All right. With that said, thank you all so much for being on the call today. We appreciate you. It'll be the same time next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And Josh, what's next week's schedule about? Absolutely. And remember, you can always check it out on our YouTube channel. This one will be up in probably tomorrow evening. By tomorrow evening, is that usually how you do it? Yep. And most of you have my phone number. So if you need anything, please reach out, phone call, text. If you guys are working, so am I. All right. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week.